The Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, has celebrated the launch of the Common Fellowship Portal at National Media Centre, New Delhi, in the gracious presence of Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honourable Minister of Science and Technology. Its theme was Nurturing Scientific Temper in Young Minds for Viksit Bharat. Dr. Garima Gupta, scientist from DBT, in her welcome address said,
On behalf of the Department of Biotechnology, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to this inaugural ceremony for the launch of the Common Fellowship Portal. The portal is designed to provide students with a comprehensive repository of information on doctoral and postdoctoral fellowships offered by various ministries and departments with the underlying theme of Nurturing Scientific Temper in Young Minds for Viksit Bharat.
Dr. Sanjay Mishra, senior scientist.
Fellowships are integral part of the human resource development because human resources in science and technology are an important national resources in a country. This is human resource development in science and technology contributes to the strength of national science, technology and innovation capacity. In very short, that if you look at global, any country which is advanced in science, technology, research, innovation, they do have a very robust and very strong HRD systems in place. And when I say HRD systems, that includes fellowships, scholarships, and also the capacity building exercises. That is the bigger picture where the fellowship and the HRD schemes operate in a country, in a research ecosystems. Therefore, the several ministries in Government of India and departments, they nurture, they support, they initiate several scholarships, fellowships, and human resource development activities. Fellowship is one of them. For example, if you see, and many of you are coming from the science and technology background, then you will know that such kind of fellowships, scholarships are available not only with the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, CSIR, UGC, AICT, ICMR. There are other agencies also, they do operate their fellowships. For example, there are schemes to support at the undergraduate, postgraduate level students. There are schemes for postgraduate teaching courses. Then we have the PhD students, PhD fellowships. If you move further, you will have the postdoctoral fellowships, which are done after the PhD. And of course, just to point out that not only at the student life, but also once you become a scientist, you become assistant professor, still journey and the support doesn't end. There are schemes to support the human resources and at the senior level also.
Imagine if there was a compass guiding applicants through the complex landscape of STEM fellowships, ensuring that crucial information is at their fingertips. Enter the Ministry of Science and Technology's Common Fellowship Portal. Crafted for the ease of doing science in India, CFP is a gateway to research aspirations. A first of its kind centralized hub of government-backed doctoral and postdoctoral science fellowships and schemes.
Dr. Geetavani Rayasan, CSIR, HRDG.
As many of you know, CSIR is one of the oldest science and technology organization in the country and has played a pioneering role in terms of research fellowships and developing human resources in the country. In fact, research fellowships have been identified as one of the functions of the council when the council itself was formed in 1942. So although CSIR does a lot of technologies and products and all that, there's also an important component of human resource development, and it was recognized way back in 1942 that research fellowships are an integral part of developing scientific capability in the country. And so apart from the research fellowships, research grants were also identified, and the extramural funding of research grants of CSIR enabled many of these institutions when they were coming up early after India's independence. And apart from these fellowships, we also support symposium, seminars and conferences. And many of you from the scientific community must be knowing about the CSIR UGC National Eligibility Test. The scheme started in 1943 itself to support the scientific organizations in the country which were being set up right from TIFR, so on and so forth, and Department of Atomic Energy. And the doctoral fellowships were introduced in 1983, recognizing that we need to develop the PhDs in the country. And postdoctoral fellowships actually predated the PhD fellowships. In fact, postdoctoral fellowships were started in 1950. We support the universities and others in the extramural grants. And regarding the awards, till now we were doing the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, which has now got subsumed into the national awards of the Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, which many of you have heard in the media. And another program which we started from 2016-17 onwards, because we are talking about scientific temper in young minds, Another activity is the Jigyasa program, which connects to the school students. Here, however, there is no fellowship. It's more of an outreach program. So the next slide. So CSIR is supporting PhD fellowships, and they are selected by the JRF UGC NET exam, which is conducted. Now we are working with the NTA for this, and it is conducted in 5 different subjects: the life sciences, the earth sciences, mathematical sciences, chemical sciences, and physical sciences. And apart from these, we also support the direct SRF fellowship, wherein students who are working in projects are eligible to receive fellowship as direct SRFs. We also support the research associate and the postdoctoral fellowships, which we are talking about. And there is also senior research associate fellowship, which is also called as a pool officer fellowship. And in fact, this was a very popular scheme again in 1950s, and it was administered by Ministry of Home Affairs as almost similar to UPSC to attract the scientists from abroad. So that scheme is also running right now.
Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology.
Let me begin by congratulating this team for developing this portal, which will prove to be extremely beneficial for all the prospective candidates, whether it is for the PhD programs or the postdoctoral fellowship programs. One of the advantages of this portal is towards contributing ease of doing science. One feature of the portal, which is the eligibility calculator, I hope will really prove to be very useful for all the research aspirants in knowing that for which schemes, and there are large number of schemes by the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, CSIR, where they are eligible, and how they can apply through a common frameworks. I would also like to congratulate the team of the Department of Science and Technology, DBT and CSIR, who have come together for contributing this. I hope it will help in streamlining the various diversities in methodologies which have been adopted for processing of applications, selection of fellows, and the mechanism for disbursement of funds. This portal will set the benchmark for bringing together and operationalizing similar schemes using such selection process for selection of fellows. We hope that this common fellowship portal will become an extremely useful platform for all the aspirants, youth of the country, looking forward for various funding opportunities in the form of fellowship to support their studies and research. And I hope that this will also serve as a template for other ministries, particularly the Ministry of Education also, in simplifying the process of selection and reducing the processing time. In such a portal, obviously, there will be some issues initially, which we will be happy to take the feedback from the candidates and will be able to improve the features of the portal. We can, of course, add more features as well as we go along in order to make it more user-friendly and streamlining the process.
Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology.
It's a real pleasure to be present over here for today's ceremony of the Common Fellowship Portal. I think as we embark upon Viksit Bharat Yatra, the technology-enabled future and knowledge-based economy, the nurturing talent will become an important feature. And I think our country is looking forward to the power of the youth and the combination of technology, which I think this portal will therefore wonderfully enable us in the future of the country. We all know that the talent in our country doesn't require any endorsements. We are all tremendously educated, tremendously powerful ecosystem, great educations and great ways in which. I think the real challenge is in the capacity building. With time, you need to empower the youth with new skills, instincts, abilities, resources, and I think they need to be provided at right time and provided a good access to it. I think this common fellowship portal represents an initiative reshaping the landscape of fellowship opportunities. I also think ministries will find it useful to go to this portal before setting up new fellowships and programs, because that will allow us to understand where are the gaps, how we can utilize this portal. Even though, people who set up fellowships, they will also find it very, very useful actually. Also for various other purposes as well, the Ministry or Department of Biotechnology has been streamlining various processes of empowering scientific delivery in terms of ease of doing business. For example, earlier last year, Honorable Minister had launched the inaugural portal of BioRap, which is basically a developed biological research regulatory approval portal, which tracks regulatory work done across biological systems all across the country. This is again across the ministries of various. This portal has been developed provides a single portal access for you to go out and link out yourself to various regulatory guidelines that are required to do research, such that the ethical practices and all other aspects are followed. And I think these interdepartmental synergies really will help in future for various students and young researchers to be able to come up with their own plans and ideas to look at future. This centralized hub, as already been mentioned, actually also streamlines application processes, eliminates redundancies, and promoting a more efficient and user-friendly experience for researchers. I think what is also critical, this portal heavily relies on active participation of all the departments and stakeholders. Because if you're going to change your portal, the API integration will constantly become a challenge actually. And I would therefore kindly request all the ministries and all the departments to be able to make sure that they don't keep changing their portals such that the API integration doesn't get disturbed actually. Also, the transformation and future of scientific workforce does require tremendous amount of change actually. Department of Biotechnology has been working towards this direction even at the level of PhD researchers as well.
After the launch of the Common Fellowship Portal, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, remarked,
I realized, because I've been traveling a lot, visiting the universities and the colleges, wherever I went, I found students always struggling with the procedures to apply for fellowships. Very often, they were at a loss to find out what fellowship was meant for which student. And more often than that, they did not know where to find out. Secondly, in the process, they missed out on many of the fellowship opportunities, which could have been very appropriate from their profile, from their aptitude, also their taste and their area of work. And there were multiple websites which were not known. In fact, so often, and it's been not very past, it's been very recent. I came across a PhD girl in one of these universities. She said she wanted to go abroad for a fellowship. And then I told her, same kind of a course is available or a fellowship is available in one of our genetic institutes, which we have over here, ICGB. And ironically, a girl who had dedicated so many years was not actually aware. And sometimes there were also dates clashing with each other. And if there were some interactive selection interactions, then they would either not be able to reach out to all of those opportunities for reasons of time constraint or even sometimes for reasons of affordability. So I had the courage to put across this unorthodox suggestion in one of those meetings that could we have a common portal. So I was not sure how well it would be taken, but I'm glad all the secretaries were generous enough and it was decided. We are the Ministry of Science and Technology. So we are mandated to develop technologies for others to follow. The best practices in technology. If we ourselves don't follow the best practices, how would others do? So that could also vindicate our work or the kind of assignment given to us. That's how we started. We thought we would have a committee because there were certain exams being conducted in UGC. There was an exam being conducted by UGC, also by CSIR. So many fellowships overlapping with each other. AICTE, ICRMR. And then later on, the Department of Biotechnology took over the responsibility of coordinating for this common portal, and they are still working. I hope they'll finish working. I think the hallmark A is the eligibility calculator. So you just put this thing, and then it keeps roaming all across the universe. And then it brings back to you where you are meant for, what you are meant for, or you are meant for or not, both ways. Whether you are meant for biotechnology or not. If you're meant for biotechnology, it's going to be human bio or it's going to be plant. And therefore, the other is the single application form. And the third is the storage of your repository. So these three ingredients are the most important, which must be popularized across all the young aspirants. And that would automatically attract them. But the full purpose of this would be served only when you have the other fellowships also, which we are in the process of doing. I think the sooner we do, the better it is.
Track real-time status of fellowships currently open. Access necessary forms and submit your applications. Made possible by seamless API integrations. With all of this and more, CFP is a product of the whole of government approach to nurture scientific temper in the young minds of India. Head over to fellowships.gov.in now.
Narrated by Manoj Mainkar, scripted and produced by Dilip Jha. This radio report of the launch of the Common Fellowship Portal came to you from Akashvani, Delhi.